Hey guys, thanks for watching our videos. This is the third one we've made and we're learning all kinds of stuff. The first video we shot, we used an iPhone 11 and the camera on that is much better than this one. This is my iPhone, which is an iPhone 6. So we're going to shoot on the 11 from here on out, and we're learning things about audio and video, and hopefully these videos are going to get better and better. We appreciate you guys sticking with us as we learn through this process. We've got another video here for you where we're going to talk a little bit more about the FJ40 and what we've done on that. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you hit the subscribe button and the like button and continue to follow along with us on this journey. Thanks again for watching. Hey guys, we're here for another episode of Dirt Dauber Garage, and if you watched our last video, we told you the story of how we got this FJ40. Went up to Ringgold, Georgia, brought it home, and I wish we could record all this in video when we did all the stuff that we've already done, but we didn't think about it at the time. The good thing is we have lots of pictures, and we've chronologically, how do you say that? We chronologically recorded all that we did up to this point. So from this point forward, when we work on it, we're going to record in video and show it to you. But we want to get you caught up with a few videos of things we've already done. So we're going to walk around the frame, show you what we did to the frame, or as my wheeler dealer guys would say, the chassis. And we're just going to tell you what we've done, show you a few pictures. We'll have a couple videos like that to get you caught up. And then from that point forward, we're going to have actual videos where we show you stuff that we're doing and record the future projects that we're doing on this build.
When we first got the SJ, we brought it home and we put everything on it so we could just see what it looked like. But then we had to take everything off and we stripped the entire frame. After we did that, we had to send off to someone in Calhoun who sandblasted it and painted the entire thing.
Yeah, we took it, he had sandblasted it, took absolutely everything off, took the bump stops off, took the motor out obviously, took the axles and the springs. There was nothing on here except the frame. Now there is this receiver hitch that somebody put on before we had it. It's dusty because we've been grinding in here and doing body work. In the back there's a receiver hitch here that we decided to keep. The other thing that was not on this was these braces back here. They were rusted out so bad that we had to replace these. But pretty much everything else on the frame that we could take off, if we could unbolt it, we unbolted it. We took it up to the guy in Calhoun. And to be honest, the sandblasting job that he did, it was okay. I felt like he probably could have done a little bit better job getting in some of these holes in the frame. But the paint he did, the paint job he did on it was really good. Like I said, you can't really see because of this dust that's on it now. But it is really nice. And it's a shiny black. I'll have to look up what kind of paint it is. I'll put it in the comments or in the description. But he did a really good job painting it. Then as soon as we got it back, we started putting it back together. And
started out with the back axle.
Yeah, we started with the back axle. The first thing we had to do was take these things completely apart. We pulled the axles out of them. We drained all the fluid, and then we scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed, and we ground on here down to the metal. And then we used the product. I got it over here. This is not endorsement, not sponsored. But I decided to go, I did a little research and I decided to do with the KBS system, where you clean it really good with a degreaser. You spray it like an etching blast on it, and then you, yeah, that's to clean it. And then you put this blast on it. You let it sit until it gets like a little green oxidized coating on it, and then you rinse that off, let it dry, and then you paint it on. And to be honest, I'm pretty happy with it. It's hard to tell the difference between what is painted up here by a professional shop and then what we did here in our shop. It did take a lot of time to grind it down and to get it to bare metal, and then clean it up and get it ready.
One thing we did find when after it got sandblasted and painted, were all the dents from rust.
Yeah, it had a little bit of pitting back here on the back. You can see, not too bad. The frame is still really solid, but had some surface pitting in the back here because, like I said in the last video, FJs are notorious for these tires spinning back here and throwing dirt up into this wheel well and mud, and it just kind of sitting on the frame and sitting back here on this back rail and just rusting out. But for the most part, it's in pretty good shape, the frame. So we rebuilt the rear axle, and we put new bearings in there. We put new seals. We put new brake cylinders and put new brake pads. We kept the same drums. I measured them. The thickness on them is still good. So the back half back here is all totally rebuilt. All right, after we got the back half done, then we moved to the front half. And that was a whole lot more work than the back. We took it apart, had it sitting on basically some sawhorses, took these knuckles completely apart. I mean, we dismantled it down to where there was nothing that couldn't be bolted off, taken off, was still on there. We did like the same thing on the back axle. We scrubbed it, wire brush, sanded, got down to bare metal as much as possible. We did the KBS blast on it, and then painted it. And then we had to recenter these knuckles.
That was a lot of work.
That was a ton of work. But we watched a video online. If you go to the I Hate Mud post that we've been doing, we showed you on there the video that we used and how to do it. We had to get some specialty tools. We had to get a micrometer to measure with. We had to get a center, a knuckle centering tool, which I don't know where we did with that. It's in one of these things. It doesn't matter.
He doesn't know how to work the toolbox.
But we'll put a picture up there. But you have to center the knuckle with some shims. Again, all new bearings, all new seals, all new chases, all new gaskets. Everything's new in this front.
All the bolts were sanded and what's that thing called over there?
Yeah, we've got a shaker. I think it's over there on the floor. We ran stuff in the shaker, cleaned it up, painted it, put it back together. So now we had to pack with grease, rebuild these front locking hubs. So everything is brand new in this front axle.
And the brakes.
And the brakes. New brake pads, everything. Okay, after we did the rear axle, we redid the front axle. Then we had to deal with the suspension. I bought these new shocks. These shocks are Monroe shocks. They were really affordable. I liked them because they were the same color as the Old Man Emu shocks, that kind of yellow. Eventually, I want to put an Old Man Emu lift on here. These are the original leaf springs. I think we're going to have a little bit taller than normal ride height because these front shackles, get a shot of these front shackles. These front shackles, which are chipping the paint already. I got these, I traded them with a guy, the stock ones that were about 2 inches shorter. These are much more heavy duty. They're about 2 inches taller. They're going to give us a little bit
thicker.
Yeah, they're much thicker. They're going to give us a little bit more lift. And then eventually when we get it up and running, probably look at putting like an Old Man Emu lift on it. This is a good time to take just a second to tell you about one of our goals for this project. You know, our goal is not to make a 100% stock original FJ40. On the other side of the coin, our goal is not to have a souped up, completely modified rock crawler. It's going to be somewhere more towards the original drivetrain, original suspension, but we want to have some upgrades. A second goal is to get this thing on the road as soon as possible. You know, we didn't want this thing to sit in the garage for 3 years or 4 years while we're trying to get together. So we're not spending a ton of money with new suspension and rebuilding the motor and all that stuff. Since the owner we got it from said that the motor ran well, we're going to trust him and put it back together and see if we can get it running without rebuilding it. If we get it all back together and we find out we have to rebuild the motor, that's okay. We can do that.
We just want to use it as soon as possible.
Yeah, we want to get this thing on the road as soon as possible. So these Monroe shocks are not as nice as Old Man Emu, but they're not as expensive either. I think I paid about $35 a piece for these shocks. Same for the steering stabilizer. It's black, it's not yellow.
Isn't that the original one?
No, that's not. That's a replaced one. I thought about putting or spray painting that yellow so it would match, and I still may do that. But we do need to paint these tie rod ends. As you can see, these are brand new tie rod ends. I will put a link in the description where we got most of our parts. We buy them from a couple places online. But, you know, we did take the leaf springs apart, clean them, did the KBS blast system on there, put them back together. And so basically the chassis is pretty much done. And all new bearings, all new seals, all new parts, everything that can be replaced has been replaced. All right, now I want to tell you a little bit about the motor and what we're gonna do there. So this part will actually be, we'll make a video when we do this. I ordered a Felpro gasket kit that has every gasket that could possibly be used for the motor. And I said earlier that we're not going to rebuild the motor right now because we want to get this thing back on the road, and it's supposed to be a good motor. I did check the compression. We'll have a compression kit. We kept the starter on it.
It was a little low, but it was up to standard.
It wasn't, you know, it's obviously
wasn't a brand new motor.
Yeah, this isn't a new motor, so I don't remember the numbers. I've got it written down. Maybe we'll pull that up and put that in a comment. But we ran the numbers on it. It's within the range of what they say is still good. So we're not going to rebuild it, but we are going to replace the valve cover gasket. We're going to replace this cover gasket for the push rods. We're going to replace the front seal. We're going to replace the timing chain gasket. We're going to replace the oil pan gasket. We're going to take the clutch off the transmission. We're going to replace the rear seal. We're going to put a new clutch in it, get the flywheel machined. And then I bought all the paint that we need. High temperature black paint, gray paint. We're going to paint the motor, paint the bell housing, probably paint the transmission. The transfer case, I think is aluminum. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can tell us in the comments, but I think it's aluminum, so we probably won't paint that. But we'll paint this emergency brake, and then I'm going to order. I haven't ordered it yet. I'm going to order new motor mounts, transmission mounts, all that, and then when we get all that together, then literally the drivetrain, the chassis, everything will be done, and we can turn our focus back to the body. I'm not going to talk about the body in this video. That's another video to come. But that's pretty much what we've done so far with the chassis. One other thing that we did do is that we cleaned these rims up. If you notice some of the other pictures earlier, they're actually a little dirty right now, but we sanded these things down. Judson spent a lot of time sanding these rims.
And pressure washing.
Pressure washing them, cleaning them. Most of the seals on this front end and rear end were leaking, and so there was gear oil all over these rims, all over the brakes. Good thing is it helped keep from rusting. But Judson scrubbed these things down really good, taped them off, and then painted them. Again, rims and tires are something we're going to replace probably fairly soon once we get this thing back on the road. But we are keeping the original, or not the original, but the ones that we have on there now because they're free. They work fine. Look at these tires. You can tell they still got plenty.
Brand new.
I wouldn't say they're brand new, but they got plenty of life left in them. So
they have holes for spikes too.
Yeah, they still got little knobs on the side here, so they're in pretty good shape. So we're going to keep these tires at least initially. We don't know if we're going to go back to the original skinny pizza cutter tires or get some bigger, more off-road tires. We don't know yet. We'll let you guys comment on what you think we should do.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our video. Make sure to subscribe and turn your post notifications on. We'll try and post at least one video a day. Also, make sure to hit that like button if you liked our video and comment down below.